Okay. So last class we discussed about Sqoop import to import a table from MySQL to HDFS. We'll continue other few import commands. The other one which I made interest is how do you import your uh, MySQL table into Hive directly, right? One thing is whatever we imported, say example, we imported into HDFS, yeah, we imported order details into Feb 10. So basically what we are we actually order details we imported. So what I can do is I can just go and create a Hive table for this this with respect to this data set and map this directory. Like I can create a Hive external table and map this directory so that I can work on the Hive tables. That's one way. And other way is I can directly create a Hive table. Okay, I can just import whatever the data from my SQL table and then create the Hive table directly in the Hive database. That also I can do. I will do that. So, just open it Hive CLI. And whenever you get apart from practicing your example, start exploring about the interview questions on different components. Uh, now we covered a few more components in Hadoop ecosystem. So just start exploring your interview questions. And if you have any um, doubt, you can actually post me. Then I will help you. If I don't know the answer, I'll just go and refer and I'll get back to you. Okay, so show databases. I will create just Sqoop, create database. No tables in this. Let me import into. I'll create the new table here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll just same order table data. We will load into the Hive table. So till this, it's almost same as previous HDFS thing. So then that is a property called Hive import, and then provide the Hive tables. So if you want to create a new table, just you can use a uh, Hive create table. Else, what you can do is you can actually create a you can actually provide a create Hive table, which will create a new Hive table. If you already Hive table is there, then you can remove this and you can provide only Hive tables. So basically, you have to provide the Hive table to import. If you want to create new, you just add this additional property. Okay, now I'll run this. So it is going to launch a map only job. Okay, the directories on the actually I was using HDFS directory which has already exist. I will use and then we will actually we will also try to do the existing table like from the existing table we'll load the MySQL table into the existing IO table also. Okay, I'll open one more session with MySQL CLI. Okay, I have 7 rows here. Yes. Okay, so there is actually it was not able to refer the IO configuration. Okay, so basically we need to set this property IO count PAR. Okay, I missed this. There's a way to set up. So basically, so we already set this hive home, okay, but Hive config dir, we did not export this environment variable, and also you just add a Hadoop class path with the Hive library path. So if you had these three, okay, it will be able to uh, connect to the Hive environment. So the Sqoop was not able to find out the Hive environment, that's why it failed here. I will rerun the shop again. I'll change only this STFS directory. Okay, before it runs, okay, there is one common. Okay, I'm doing it. So okay, so now what we are doing is this. In this command, okay, so we are actually creating a new table in Hive called order details. Say example, the currently how many rows are there in um, order detail. So you have a 7 rows, right? So it actually 7 rows will load into this order table which we are creating in Hive. Okay. Then example, if I am actually going to create 2 more rows in MySQL table. Okay. Then if I run one more command, okay, the Sqoop import command specifying my Hive table, because which is already exists in my database. I'll just go and refer, because every time I don't need to create a table. Even if I try to create it, will say exists because already created. So if I try to load, what happens? Either you have to go and use, instead of table, you have to use a query parameter, hyphen hyphen query, and then filter only the rows which is new. Okay, so basically you need to write your the query in the query. Some you have to prepare a query in such a way that it picks only the delta rows, which is new rows, right? Then that will get loaded into Hive. And otherwise, what it does is it will again load the entire data set into the order tables. Okay, and if the sometime what happens if writing this query which actually picks only the uh, delta rows is little difficult. Okay, so that is this way of loading is that they call it, there's a one general practice which we do or maybe follow is an incremental load. Okay, so there is a many requirement, or maybe the uh, kind of mandatory things which you follow is an incremental load, right? So some every time you want to get a the only the delta value. So to achieve incremental load, I will provide some mechanism. So you don't need to write every time go and change your logic here to do the incremental load. So I will provide some mechanism to uh, a way to load the incremental data to the your Hive tables. So that we'll focus next. Okay, so let me check this is completed. This is loaded. I will go and check the table. Okay, so if I run this, it will be duplicated. Okay, so what is that way of loading incremental load? What is the way to do incremental loading? So there is good documentation in Sqoop. Please use the link to rejoin if it is disconnected. Okay, so incremental load. This is one of the essential essential operation in any data migration, right? So it provides three properties which will help you to do the bring the delta rows. Okay, one is the check column. Okay, you need to specify. You have to consider one column which is like kind of unique column, and which determines based on this column you will be loading, you will be deciding whether to pick the which rows to be delta rows to import into the target. Okay, and there are two the loading parts. Generally this column can be of numerical, maybe the unique columns, or maybe a sequence number and kind of a numerical value, and other can be you can decide on based on the numerical value a kind of primary key like employee ID or order ID based columns. The other columns you can decide is a timestamp column. So based on these two type of columns you can decide the incremental import. So in the checksum on the check column you need to specify the column on which it has to check and whether the new records has come or not. And then there is one more property called incremental, where you have to specify whether it is so it provides two modes. One is append. This has to be used if you are actually considering the running number or sequence number columns. So if my order ID is going to be considered as in check column, then I can use append. And if I'm loading based on the timestamp column, right, then I need to consider last modified. Okay, and then you need to provide one more property which is the last value. So basically I need to know what is my last value, which is a maximum value of my previous import. Okay, if I provide that, what it will go on, it will take this value, and if it is a numerical based one, you will be using append, right? It will go and say greater than. The Sqoop itself will prepare the kind of query which will it will do the greater than this what value you pass here. And if it is a timestamp based column, then again the timestamp which is greater than this one, and it will take and put it into the target. That's how this incremental import was. So let's do this for our case. So what we loaded in Hive is this is yeah, Hive. So we loaded it till the order ID 9635. Okay, now what we'll do is in the MySQL we'll add two more rows, which is 9635, right? We'll add this 9636 in Hive. I'll just add this. So I want to we'll add one more row also. Please interrupt me whenever you have doubt. Okay, so and I ran this on it. Okay, fine. Stop this. Okay, so I have to. Okay, so we loaded now two rows, 9636, 9637. I want to load only these two records. So how I prepare the import statement? So I'm going to okay, just put this as 12. Database is going to be different. I'm going to into order table, and the check column is the order ID, and the incremental mode is basically append mode because I'm considering a sequence number column or unique columns, right? And what is my last value? I passed the last maximum value of my previous import is 9635. Yes, if you look at this is MySQL, this is high. So 9635 is the maximum number from my previous import. Then I'll just pass this, and now I'll run this. So when you actually do this kind of incremental load, generally this part only the last value we need to modify every time you run. So when you schedule this import Sqoop import on either using Woozy or Airflow like scheduler, only that part you have to make it dynamic, the last value, okay, and remaining can be same thing. Now once this loads complete, then in the high we should see the other two rows, not the entire data. So I Sqoop import and then export and eval. This will be a more commonly used commands. And apart from there are other command also. Please try it and let me know if you have any doubt. In the MySQL, there is one more table I created earlier. Let me check. Just to use the export command. Export is to bring a Hive or SDFS to the uh, RDBMS, right? The relational database. So earlier I loaded this data. I'll just truncate this. Truncate table data which I imported. If it is empty, I will use this table for export command. Okay, let's see if this is completed. Yeah, this is done. So I'll go and check the Hive. Now you see now only these two are loaded. Okay, not the it's not the delta rows are loaded here. This is how you need to use the Sqoop import for the incremental load. Okay, and now we'll actually check the Sqoop export. Okay, so Sqoop export basically um, where we just we have a directory in SDFS, right? We'll use that directory to export it. Okay, so I think yesterday we read this. Okay, we load this data into our target table. Okay, which is our MySQL table order detail underscore exp. Okay. All right, we'll actually connect back with the same link, and then we'll do that. Please use the same link to join. I'm just disconnecting.